welcome back, Jonathan and Andi Goldman, to I Am Sound. We've just been saying off air, it has been almost a year since I had you guys on, and I can't believe it's been that's gone that quickly. But here we are. Welcome.
Oh, and we are delighted to be back. And we can't believe it's been a year either. And thank you for having us back. We are delighted to be here.
And it's really an exceptional time on our beloved planet. And we're here to spread the word about sound.
Good. And that's what we want you to do. So you'll notice I in the meantime of this year going by, we've had you on, I think we had you on twice. We had one about humming, and we've had one about World Sound Healing Day, which is the reason why we're on today, is to talk about that again. And since then, I Am Sound, which if nobody has seen that, if anybody is watching and you don't know what that is, that's the company that I created. We've grown exponentially over the last year. We've put together so much, and we brought on some amazing people from the world of sound. And we thought we needed some elders on board. We needed some people who've done it before. We needed the wisdom keepers. So we've called them elderflowers, and you two are both now elderflowers. So your I Am Sound elderflowers. We didn't want to say elders because it makes you sound older. So we thought elderflowers works.
We like. How about elder vibrations?
Oh, I like that. Elder vibrations.
Sages of wisdom.
Sages of sound. Sages of sound.
Oh, I'm writing it down. Hold on.
We are the sages of sound.
And we are the sages. We have been doing this a very long time, for sure.
Sages of sound. Okay, yeah, we'll put that on there. We've got it. So there's been lots going on in the world. It's gone a little bit crazy, but it's kind of a distorted environment, and we're bringing back harmony. That's the goal. So we've got distortion. We're bringing back harmony. So you guys have obviously given me an incredible amount of information on the first two interviews, which anybody who hasn't watched those, please goes back and check those out. But you told me about humming and your book on humming. And I suffered from migraines quite a lot. And I wanted to tell you both that I started humming in the bath with my ears under the water. And my God, it works.
My gosh.
So good. Yeah, it really works. It gets rid of headaches like very, very quickly. So I wanted to thank you both. That's when I get stressed.
Wow.
Thank you. And also, considering these interesting times, there is some important information that we may have shared with you about humming generating nitric oxide in the nasal cavity. And that basically gets rid of all those nasty little critters, the viruses and whatnot that encode themselves there. So there's been a lot of actual research on the use of humming as an antiviral agent as well. So it's quite extraordinary. And we're so gifted and pleased that when we wrote our book, we didn't have any of the current times in mind as, if you like, therapeutic benefits, but it certainly can apply.
Yeah. It was definitely the wisdom keepers. They knew it before they knew it before we needed it. That's how I love you. You guys so ahead of yourselves. I love it. So we're going to talk today about World Sound Healing Day. So just as a recap, you guys came together to do World Sound Healing Day. How many years ago now is it?
20 years ago. Yeah. This is our 20th World Sound Healing Day. And we can't believe that, it's like the time has just flown by, and it has just gotten more and more and more participation, which we are so honored and grateful for. So we are happy to be talking about it today.
Good. Your excitement and your enthusiasm. It's just, I love how excited you two get about sound. It's great. So for anybody that hasn't heard of sound healing, which I don't think there's many people left because it's taking the world by storm, it's the process of using sound to find harmony again. So you can use sound healing, you can use Tibetan bowls, you can do sound healing with humming, you can use instruments, you can use music, essentially. There's many different ways to use sound as a healer, as well as sound and frequencies and sound and light. So of recent times, the spiritual world has been blowing up for many reasons, and the work of sound, sound healers like yourself has got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the idea of, people really understanding the power of music and the power of sound is really taking hold. And it's something that, I think a lot of people now have got the level of consciousness. They're ready to receive. They're ready to be the receivers that they are, and they're ready to hear more and to use sound in their healing process. But have you noticed anything kind of dramatically different around in the last kind of 2 years, obviously with COVID and now this year. Have you noticed anything that's been quite unusual or anything that's quite interesting that you're really surprised at in terms of how we're receiving the message you guys are sending with sound?
No, except that 10 years ago, we were aware that sound was beginning to feel a lot like yoga was 10 years ago. And we saw yoga studios happening on every street corner and every person being a yoga fanatic. And now there's a whole lot of interest in sound. I've been waiting for this for 40 years. So what can I say? It's about time.
And the interesting thing, Nat, is that for so many years, we have been, teaching and working with sound, and we kept saying to ourselves, it is one day going to just explode and people are going to actually get, and in fact, that was one of the reasons we wrote our humming book, The Humming Effect, because we knew that that was a sound that everybody could make. And we did want to get sound out to the people as easily and as effortlessly and as efficiently as we possibly could. And so humming became a great sound, but we always had this vision of, gosh, sound is what yoga was before. So now we've got sound really permeating everyone's consciousness.
Back some years ago, we were over in London at the Royal College of Music teaching a weekend workshop. And it was the first, if you like, sound healing workshop that had ever been taught at the Royal College of Music. We had hundreds of people, and it was way cool. It was way cool.
Wow. Have you been following the work? Is it John Stewart Reed, isn't it? I think your friend, is that his name, if I remember rightly? I saw something you put out the other day. He made quite a discovery, if I'm right, recently. Have you got the details on that? Do you want to go into a little bit more?
Bottom line, it seems to be that John has found that, and once again, please excuse me, but I think these things are so obvious. But it's like the work of Masaru Emoto, who showed that water crystals took on either extraordinary geometric shapes when exposed to powerful harmonizing positive energy, or looks like mud if it was negative energy. John found that blood cells literally could seem to rejuvenate and regenerate with the proper frequencies and intention. We love it. John was actually came to study with us.
Well,
20 years ago.
I think in 2001, we did a workshop in the north of England, and he came and we met him for the first time there, and developed a lovely friendship with John and his beautiful wife. And so, his work is quite profound.
And it's, once again, it seems simple. The fact that sound, music, intentionalized sound can basically regenerate and rejuvenate blood, because it sort of makes sense, but it's so important because here now we have, if you like, some of the data, the physical proof that this stuff is real.
Well, and one of the things that I want to mention here is intention, because that is a big part of this. And, the intention that we hold when we are making any sound at all, even in our speaking voice, we want to hold that intention of healing and love. And of course, Jonathan created a formula 40 years ago, frequency plus intent equals healing. And so, that really speaks to what we're talking about right now as well.
And just jumping in for a second, talking about, so that research that we were telling you about nasal nitric oxide being an antiviral agent, that was discovered in 2006 by something called the Karolinska Institute, which is the major Nobel Prize winning medical place in Sweden. But it's now just making the rounds 15 years later. How crazy is that?
Yeah, you guys are so patient with your work. You must have seen all these amazing advancements, and then we're like, yeah, we've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, we've got Snapchat, everything else but what you guys are doing. But I love where people are going with it now. People are becoming far more creative. There was a real interest in into opening up to sound and music being a healer. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, right? It's a very crazy environment right now. And I was talking to my team, and we've been talking about how we think, not about changing people of the world, but it's like, how do we kind of make an impact? How do we do something different? And we came up with the idea of having just way more fun. We want to have as much fun as possible.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, right. It needs to just be fun, basically. And the idea is that because we're so polarized at the moment, there's so many opposing ideas, and there's lots of different things that are happening that make people feel sad and fear and so on. But we thought, how do we have as much fun as possible? So we came up with some ideas of, it's an idea that I had a long time ago, actually, but I kind of re-envisioned it. But it's about having the global games. And we thought the game of self, basically. So it's sound, energy, light, and freedom is what you would study while you play the games. But we came up with some suggestions of doing weekly game show. And each week we would basically stream out on Amazon, Roku, and Apple TV. And we would stream out some ideas for people to go and explore sound and, themselves in a different way. One of the things we came up with was actually going to hug a tree. And when you actually listen to a tree, lots of trees are different from other trees, but also you feel really awkward about going to do that. You're like, oh my God, this feels uncomfortable. I don't want to hug a tree. Someone might judge me. But it's actually about opening up to the real feelings that you're having while you're exploring sound in a different way. And one of the ones we wanted to do a whole week on humming as well. So we want to get you guys involved on that and spread the positive power of your book. But obviously getting people to hum, because people, they kind of think like, well, I'm just humming, like, they don't really take it that seriously. But what kind of words or what could you say about getting people to take humming really seriously?
One of the things that I would say is to read the first chapter of our book, The Humming Effect. It is nothing but solid, peer-reviewed research on the benefits of humming. And when we are humming, there are just so many physiological benefits that are happening, just like you were sharing, Nat, with, your experience with getting rid of your migraine headache. That's pretty powerful stuff. And so I would, say, humming may sound like, oh, yes, humming. We do call it conscious humming, however, because we want people to, take humming seriously and yet have a little fun with it, like you were just saying as well.
And we also, suggest, I haven't gotten my thing in yet about why humming is serious, but what I'd like to suggest with conscious humming is that while you can hum zippity doo dah, I want to hold your hand or whatever, if you do the hum with just one consistent tone, and then take a nice deep breath, the vibrational effect is so much different than if you're moving, because the sound, the frequencies, therefore, are bouncing all over the place, and the field being created is very different than one consistent hum. Number one.
Needs to be the challenge. Sorry, I'm just going to write that down. I'm going to do zippity doo dah in comparison to a solid hum. That's the challenge.
Yeah, okay, you can do that. If everybody knows what zippity dah, that's great. What a challenge. But also, number two, I'd like to suggest that the hum is the predecessor of the om. In the Yoga Sutras, it said the original sound of creation was pranava, the humming of prana, and they had to give it a name, so they called it om. But it's just on a level, it's really old. But number three, I also wanted to suggest, I remember 40 years ago, going in the streets of Cambridge, Massachusetts, not only hugging trees, but singing to them. And if you're singing them, you sing whatever you like a song of love, whatever works. So zippity doo dah is great. We're suggesting that the conscious hum is one consistent tone, just so you get the frequency level balanced out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. I can see you're going to come up with quite a few challenges for us to set to the audience. What else have you got in your locker? Give me some other fun things people can do with sound at home. What do you think they could do?
Well, as long as you are encoding it with the energy of gratitude, appreciation, compassion,
love, loving
then
kindness.
it's a good sound. And that's the bottom line. You know, whether it's our voices as we're talking or whatnot, as long as we can project that energy, then it's a healing sound.
Yeah.
People really need to realize that the voice can be healing and it can be destructive. Too many people are using the voice as an instrument of anger, and we want to curtail that.
Well, and for things that people can do at home with sound, I mean, obviously humming is something that everyone can do, and there's really very little, if any at all, judgment that we have about humming when we are humming ourselves. And so, that's certainly one. And really, even something like reading a poem can be very therapeutic. And, certainly working with musical instruments and Tibetan bells and bowls and crystal bowls. And, there's so many sound uh, implements that are available to people now that people are really acquainted with and are, getting, information about. So anything that has to do with sound, once we hold the intention, frequency plus intent equals healing.
Here's one more. When you're humming, and if you're humming a note, see if you can shift the energy from your forehead to your chest, first with pitch like this, and then with intention, then just with intention. I believe it or not, both of them, I move the energy from here to here. First one, I add the element of pitch, and the second one, I work purely with intention. Because if you become adept enough at it, then you can do anything.
Yeah, that's so true. I love you two are so cute together. So has there anything been anything that's happened in the last 12 months that you think is quite new in the world of sound? Anything that you've seen that's really interesting that you've kind of driven, I can't even say it, that you've dived into further? Is there anything new that you want to tell us around sound, or anything new that you guys are doing or working on?
Well, by gosh and by golly, if it's taken 20 years for the concept that you can do nasal humming and generate nitric oxide, and that, that for that to begin to make it, into mainstream public, then is anything new? I probably could tell you things from 40 years ago that you'd go, I never heard of that. And, bottom line. So I guess new is all relative. I hear what you're saying. People are always looking for the new, shiny, latest thing. And there's a lot of shiny, latest things that people are sort of making up to. I want to honestly suggest that okay, one of the things that I think is so very, very important is that from our perspective, there is no one frequency that is the healing frequency. What's new in the last few years is that there are a frequency or two that have healing energy and are better. And a lot of that is just sort of the placebo effect, which is very, very important. But also, if you think of sound as being this incredible potpourri, this incredible smorgasbord of different types of frequencies, whether the Tibetan bowls or jazz or whatnot, they're all, depending upon the time, the space, and the need of the individual, they can be therapeutic and healing, depending upon what you need. If you are low energy and you need to get some energy up, then you want to actually listen to some up-tempo rhythmic music. At the same time, if you're trying to chill and whatnot, you don't want to be hearing some, high-speed EDM, because it just doesn't work. So you have to realize the relationship between your nervous system, your heart rate, your respiration, your brain waves, and the different vibrations that are occurring.
Right. And one of the things too that I want to share is that we are all unique vibratory beings. And so we are going to be affected by different frequencies and different sounds in a way that is unique unto our own body, mind, and spirit. So I encourage people to play around with, different sounds. And I mean, certainly, we've done so many mantras and toning exercises.
okay.
toning exercises, and but I just have fun with it and just play around.
Yeah. You just
And
saw your speaker out there.
yeah, one
Okay,
wow,
here we go.
we're getting our Yeti on. Okay.
Look at me.
Okay. And just one last suggestion is indeed, as Andi said, we're all unique vibratory beings. And if it's real for you, it's real for you. But that doesn't mean it's going to be real for someone else. So that if it's penicillin that you're doing, penicillin, if you perceive that everything in the universe is in a state of vibration, then penicillin is a vibration, it's a frequency, and it's going to heal 80% of the people, but it's going to be toxic for 20% of the people, even something like that. So not every type of music or sound is going to work for everybody. And as soon as we realize that and own it, then we empower ourselves with our own innate ability to experience resonance.
Yeah. It's a one size fits all, isn't it? Sorry, Andi, go on. I'll let you go.
Jonathan just used a magic word, empowering ourselves. And that is really what happens when we work with sound. We have the power within ourselves through our voice to really shift and change our consciousness, to lower our stress levels, to bring in balance and harmony, just simply through our voice, through sound, through humming, through toning. So there's just, sound is a great tool for shifting and changing, especially in current time. And I wanted to talk about for a minute too, what new and exciting things we're doing. And honestly, I know we started out talking a little bit about World Sound Healing Day, but World Sound Healing Day, which happens on February 14th, and it is our 20th February 14th coming up. But we have really created a whole new, exciting platform for people to be able to participate. If they want to participate by joining a group, or they want to participate by facilitating a group, all they have to do is go to our portal and find a group or list, put on their link. So that's something quite new and exciting that we're doing, especially because people cannot gather so much this year in person. And of course, last year, not at all. So the portal is a great thing to help people to connect.
Good. And that will be under. So if anybody's looking, they need to go under this on YouTube. You can find that link to the portal as well. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, we're going to have it coming up across the screen. I think we're going to be a little bit professional and make it come across the screen. I've got a good technical team behind me, guys. I've grown the team since last time we spoke. So now I have support to be able to bring stuff across the screen when we're talking. So we'll get that put on there as well. There's a lot of people out there who are not massive meditators, but you're not asking them to go deep into meditation and pray for World Sound Healing Day, essentially in a normal meditation. You're actually asking them to hum as well, aren't you?
No, we're actually,
no.
We ask them to do anything that they like, whether it's a bowl, a bell, a hum, a song, a poem, just as long as it is generated, as projected with the energy of compassion and appreciation. Nice. And that is as simple as taking some nice deep breaths, feeling appreciation. Sometimes it helps if you breathe in and out through your heart. And then whether you're singing, humming Zippity Doo Dah, or you're doing Beethoven's 12th, you're playing All You Need Is Love or whatnot, it's being projected out of our field. Because when our heart and our brain become in a state of coherence, the field is 50 to 500, or even 5,000 times greater. And then when you add the element of sound, it's even greater. Just think about the fact that the different prayers on our planet, for the most part, they're vocalized, spoken, whispered, chanted, or sung, or they can be played through music. And that's because sound amplifies the power of prayer and meditation, and sound amplifies our intention and focused energy.
And the reason that we created World Sound Healing Day was to bring healing to Mother Earth and to all sentient beings through our intention of compassion and loving kindness and healing. And so when we encode those intentions on whatever sound we are making, that is what World Sound Healing Day is all about.
Now, it did start out with everyone making the the heart sound, which is wonderful, but we found so many different people wanted to do other things that it's just great. Let us not be so refined when we say you can just make this one sound. Let us include whatever the sound is, as long as it's done. All we ask is the intention be one of gratitude, appreciation, kindness. Just think of, we have a whole lot of divisiveness on our planet, as you know. If people were compassionate to each other, this probably would not be happening. I try to practice what I call compassionate understanding. So I look and I see what all people are just saying, and I don't judge them. I try to understand, why are they coming from this place? What's happening there? And it's been very, very effective.
Beautiful, Jonathan. I love compassionate understanding. And I'm reminded of something the Dalai Lama once said. He's just be nice to everyone. Just be nice. And wow, that just really touched my heart, because what a message.
So simple.
Powerful, simple, effective. Just be nice and have compassionate understanding. I love that.
And if possible, have fun.
Yes. Bringing it back to the fun. So you've been having quite a lot of fun, actually. I get your emails with all your podcasts with all your favorite people on from the world of sound. So let's give that a plug as well. Like, give us your top 2 people that you've interviewed, or you've got some really cool, you've got so many people on there. I get them through and I'm like, who do I choose from? What do I listen to?
The last 2 that were aired was Lama Tashi, who is one of the Dalai Lama's favorite chanting monks. He was in December. In January was Greg Braden, and coming up
for February 8th or 9th is going to be Bruce Lipton. I know he wrote The Biology of Belief, and we invited him on with his beautiful, beautiful wife, Margaret Horton. So it is a wonderful, fun, great show. And that is coming up. So yeah.
That's just recent. So there's
I think Greg Braden and him, we were talking about them. We were talking about who else can we have as our sages of sound, as our elderflowers. Those 2 definitely need to go on the board, I think. We definitely need to have them on there, because there's just so much. This is what I love now, is looking at everyone I've looked at over the last kind of 15 years on this journey, and seen everyone, and everyone's now all connected and kind of coming back together. And I see all of you guys sharing each other's content and having each other on each other's podcasts. And it was always quite separate before, but now I think everyone's kind of coming to the idea of podcasting, which is great, because you all interlink together, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
The idea that we have for you moving forward is, we want to support you from I Am Sound. We want to be able to, now we're kind of fully out there, we're launched, we're doing more and more. We want to support you. How can other people support you? How can other people support what you do? What do you guys need? What would you like to see in the world of sound, where people can meet you and get that message out there? What would you like to see from us?
Can I first just jump and say that I have a good friend who's a very well-known game show host. Okay. And
like them already.
And he was talking about it, and this is national TV game show host type stuff. And he was talking about getting funding for World Sound Healing Day. And I said, right now, not interested in that. We just want to make it a platform where everybody can take part and basically help the planet. It's an altruistic program. We don't even put my name to it. It's gotten attached because
we started
it, and we're spokespeople for it. But it basically, just go to the website and either take part in an event, present your own event, or take part in someone else's, but support that aspect of healing our planet through sacred sound. It's so simple. It's biblical in nature. And it's scientific, and it's quantum in nature, It's all these things, and it's real, and it's fun.
And we like to call it global harmonization. And I really think that in terms of people supporting our work and what, you just asked, what can they do? I think just being in sound and opening it up to your communities and just doing that deep dive into the research, into the education, and sharing that with as many people as you can would be wonderful.
And the more you have your own experience with sound, the deeper you can dive, the more profound the connection between you and the divine is. And as you know, I have the divine name, which is a sound that I oftentimes work with Greg Braden sharing, and we have a workshop that is online at our healingsounds.com website, and it's a great teaching. But once again, using sound to connect with the divine, and it's so natural. And the more you experience it, the more powerful it'll be. Most people will go, well, yeah, they spend 5 minutes. Oh, I meditated. What next? No, hang with stuff. If you're humming, practice it. Do it for a while. Do it on a daily basis. Make it a daily experience so that it then grows and amplifies and becomes real. Because if you just do it once, you're going to miss it.
Yeah. And go to our website, healingsounds.com, because we have got so much information. We have books, tuning forks, lots and lots of free downloads, and people can really open up to the world of sound in a very quality way by going to our website. A website did win the award for for best website of the year.
We don't even have that on the website that it was the winner of the Visionary Award, but it is.
I love that. So have you got any other projects that you're kind of secretly starting behind the scenes? Have you got anything, or are you taking it easy now?
I'm going to talk about Lamatashi. We have got a fantastic behind the scenes program that is in the works right now that will be launched in probably March. And that is with our dear beloved Lama Tashi, who is a Tibetan, actually was the chant master for the Dalai Lama. And he is doing an online course called the Tibetan Secrets of Happiness. And we have been working on that for quite a number of months.
Oh, actually, about a year. Actually, we began about this time last year.
And Jonathan is interviewing Lama Tashi, and then Lama Tashi is speaking about talk about wisdom. He is bringing so much
compassion,
wisdom and knowledge, compassion, and under the umbrella of the Tibetan Secrets of Happiness. So that's going to be coming out. So we're excited to share that with your audience today.
And many other things that we'll be sending out news flashes on all this stuff. But right now, we're really focused on World Sound Healing Day, because that is brand new and shiny, and it's real, and it's in front of us, and it's happening February 14th. We can heal the planet.
We can heal ourselves.
We can heal ourselves.
And we can heal the planet. It's really a feedback loop. And once you begin to get that, wow.
I remember when you did that on the first interview, and it was so cute. Honestly, I adore you two. You're my favorite couple in sound. I don't think there's any out there that are going to take over that position. You've won.
We're not in competition.
No, that's why you're my favorite couple as well. You're so cute together.
That touches my heart, Nat. Thank you for that. We've been doing this a long time.
I know, you can tell, and I can feel it as well. It's just so nice. It's so warm to speak to people that are just so connected in their relationship. It matters. I think this is the world right now. There's so many people that are void of connection on even just a friendship level, so isolated, but to see you two so warm and connected, it's beautiful.
And it's a blessing, and it's possible for anyone. It's a learning experience.
And we are
wonderful.
And we are grateful. We truly are.
Yeah.
We laugh and say we're both on That's how we got together. We're on assignment.
Oh,
A great assignment, I might add.
a great assignment. Well, I think we can leave it there on the assignment. I think that's a great way to end it. Unless you've got anything else you'd like to add. We've talked about your podcast, World Sound Healing Day, anything new project, your message for the world.
Things are going to be manifesting. There are a lot of people who are doing some wondrous work with sound. Check them out. But just also, I am standing on the shoulders of giants. So for all the people who just discovered sound a couple of years ago, they are standing on the shoulders of giants who stood up. So in other words, it's been around for a long time. And I would really highly advise checking out stuff from a while ago.
Oh, I want to also just get a plug in for the Sound Healers Association.
Oh, yes, tell us.
soundhealersassociation.org, and people can join the association and have the availability to network with other sound healers in the world, basically. But what made me think about it is that on the Sound Healers, we call it SHA, and on SHA, we have got a listening library that has got lectures by all of the people that Jonathan was just talking about, that we're standing on the shoulders of, that people coming up through the ranks will be standing on the shoulders of. People like Don Campbell, Sarah Benson, John Beaulieu,
all sorts of people.
Oh my goodness. There's nothing else in the world like it, but it is a place where people can learn about these incredible giants in the world of sound healing that most people probably have yet to hear about.
Right. And I just thought of something else. A couple of days ago, I just finished the final edit, working with my editor, for the 30th anniversary edition of Healing Sounds, which has got new material, over an hour of downloadable sound, which was not available 30 years ago. They didn't have it. Now it's there. And it's a wonderful book with really the basic foundation is one of the major fundamentals of sound healing. It's so new that it's basically the primordial concept of sound. It's the concept of harmonics. And let's do a show on harmonics rather than me putting you on the spot and saying, do you know what harmonics are? Because I almost would suggest that harmonics are the colors of sound. And I'll keep it to that. Just as you can hold a prism into light and break it up into the different colors of the spectrum. So when we make a sound, there are actually multiple sounds that are occurring. And these multiple sounds are really so basic to our understanding of sound healing, and most people don't have a clue. No. So I'm so excited that we're relaunching the book so that people can get this fundamental. It's kind of like not understanding that water is ultimately breaks down to being a molecule.
Love it. Which is, it's interesting because we've got the corporate version of what we do with I Am Sound. It's called the fundamentals. So we're putting the fun back in the mental. So here you are with all the fundamental stuff. That now you've got another rabbit hole for me to go down. Spending hours on your stuff, Jonathan. It's ridiculous, but I love it. Although I feel like a stalker. But do you know what? I want to actually say something that I was just talking to someone. I need to introduce you, and I'm going to mention it on here rather than offline, because if anybody else has heard of this man, he's incredible. It's called Robert E. Grant. Have you heard about him? He's an incredible polymath. So it's art, science, music, sound, sacred geometry. He's got an incredible load of work that I think you two need to connect very much so. But I'm going to see if I can get this right, and I might get it wrong, so nobody judge me on this. But he's been doing an awful lot of work around 432 hertz, and he's been looking at where's my notes gone? He's been looking at the major third. No, I'm going to get this wrong. Do you know, I'm not even going to try and make it up. I'm going to send you an email. If anybody else was watching this and would like to know more, I will also send the same to you. But his name's Robert E. Grant, and his work looking at basically the way that we interpret 432 hertz, and there's a kind of a missing link that he believes, and it's I think you're going to go deep down the rabbit hole with him on this, so I can't wait to introduce you to connect.
Well, we brought 432 down, so we'll go down that rabbit hole. We brought 528 too, but you know what?
It's the
all-
major third. The major third. And it's 1.26 is something or other. I've written it down. I should have written it. I should have taken better notes.
I know that one. Of course I know that.
Yeah. So you two need to have a new best friend chat, because I think there's a lot he can learn from you and vice versa. So if you don't mind, I'll introduce you. And anybody else that
Why
wants
not?
to. Perfect. So thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it, as always. And we're not going to leave it a year until next time, because now we have our full creative team and there's way more stuff that we want to talk to you about. So yes, you haven't heard the last from I Am Sound, that's for sure. But thank you so much for your time.
Great work.
Thank you so much, Nat.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And for everyone else that's watching, I will be as my regular on Insight Timer. So I'll be on Insight Timer doing my World Sound Healing Day meditation and using the power of humming and a few other things. And I'll be talking about some other things that I've learned over my time with working with I Am Sound as well. So thank you for watching, and we hope to see you on the next one. So you guys stay there. Everyone else at home, I'm going to exit the screen here and make sure I do it professionally. But thank you very much, and we'll see you next soon. Bye.